Edge of Darkness. Is it just me or does that really sound like a video game? Hi. Mel Gibson acting again? Last big movie, you know, in an acting role, of course. Let's not forget Apocalypto, his directorial, you know, molestation. Last big acting role was in Signs. Yeah, welcome back, buddy. Just stay away from the beer. Just getting right to it, he's freaking awesome in this movie. He really brings this intensity and excitement to the film. You know, he really goes crazy with it. Not like in an over-the-top way, but you definitely are rooting for him. It's just, he goes nuts with this movie. He's just really angry all the time, and he's shooting people and running towards moving cars. You know, it's awesome. Well, we've definitely seen movies similar like this. Heck, we've seen movies similar like this from Mel Gibson. Let's not forget Ransom. I like the scene in that movie where the kid pees himself. This movie's really similar to, you know, last year's Taken, except instead of the daughter being kidnapped, the daughter gets shot on the porch. The difference between this and Taken is that Taken really had nothing else to the story at all. I like the refreshing simplicity of Taken, you know, because it worked. Because, you know, the action was awesome. Liam Neeson's, you know, cases, the movie really needs more to it. And this movie has more to it. This movie has a backstory as to why the daughter got shot on the porch. You know, that doesn't take away from, you know, the cool action scenes. And man, this movie is brutal. This movie is really graphic. Lots of people get shot in the head. I was in a really sinister theater tonight. Every single time someone got shot, the whole theater was like, ha 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 ha. Not funny. Definitely some slow parts. That would be near the beginning of the movie. It did feel a tad bit rushed. We really don't see much of his daughter at all, you know, before the boom. A little more development would have been nice, but you know, in the end, I definitely was rooting for him. You know, it's definitely evident that he really loved his daughter. You can see the determination in his eyes that he really wants to get these people. Yeah, the story can get a little confusing. There is a lot to it. Well, a lot of people at least. But, you know, by the end of this movie, I really loved it. I feel like the whole second half of this movie is awesome. There's just a few slow parts, but once the story really gets going, it's awesome. You know, Mel Gibson is terrific. The action is just really fast and really brutal. It's kind of fun to watch, although I kind of already insulted the people that were laughing, but not like in a comical way, but it's really well done action. And the story is pretty strong. It's nothing, you know, too clever or complex. I prefer the narrative as to where, you know, you find stuff out at the end on, you know, who really was all behind it the whole time. You know, stuff is revealed near the end. Which in this movie, it's kind of like we already know everything, you know, by half of the movie. Now it's just like, all right, let's kill everyone. It's basically what this movie is, but it's not really that much of an argument because it actually worked in this movie due to Mel Gibson's performance. And, you know, it is a solid story. It's got some really good supporting characters that add a lot to the film. There is one supporting character, I'm not going to ruin anything, but he's really, really important, but I just don't really think he was in much of the film because there are some parts where I forgot completely about him. One complaint I had was some of the performances from the smaller actors were a little over the top. For example, there's a scene where Mel Gibson presses a gun to a guy's neck, and he was like this. The whole theater was laughing, and finally I was laughing with him. It's kind of weird. See this movie, it's definitely an above-average revenge flick. It's dark, it's brutal, it's intense, it's awesome. It's been a really good year so far, I gotta say. I've already given an 8 out of 10 to The Book of Eli, and I've already given a 9 out of 10 to Save a Life. What am I gonna give Edge of Darkness, you ask? I'm gonna give it an in-between of those two. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. OMG, right? Yeah, awesome. Kind of disappointed with no Christian undertones though, because, you know, if you didn't notice, The Book of Eli and To Save a Life both kind of have Christian messages. Alright, forget it. Poopy buttholes.